from me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. My name is F. Joined here by Hindu Man. We're going to get our next European game underway. It's going to be Myrmidons versus Paradigm.
Now, Myrmidons in the standings are currently sat in 7th position, but they've had a good climb recently. Some decent results. Did pick up a draw against Titan as well, which we just saw Justice do the same thing. Paradigm, though, across the way. They've had a substitute in the last couple of games in Daza because Qvo's been away, but Quvo is back for this game.
Exactly. So we get to see something different besides Cabrakan or Odin. But we will have QvoFred back, which is important for
He
Paradigm.
may run Cabrakan again, you never know.
We'll see. Quvo's got a pretty big god pull, and we'll see what the rest of the team has in store. Of course, it's going to be Lawbster in the middle lane, Xaliea in the solo lane, and their jungle will be Quvo, and he's back. Again, just to reiterate, the only reason he was gone, and we saw a Dazer in there, was School.
School, 2-0 against Justice, though. 1-1 against LC. Dropped to Fnatic, 2-0. And then also beat Dignitas, 2-0. So not a bad run of performance from them. Find themselves 12-6 at the moment in the Pro League. So if they can get these wins out, they should climb in the standings once more and probably get a clear second position.
Yeah, definitely one of the more confident teams in the SPL. They enjoy having fun and just trying to win, so we'll see how they go up against their opposition, Myrmidons, who is a team that is largely French. 4 out of 5 of these players are French. LeFaeles, despite his deceptive name, one of the newer additions to the team, and he is English.
He's the one English player on the team, but that team has had a lot of roster changes this season too. Tynz, obviously replaced by Sai at the start of the season, now back to Tynz. Jungler started with Getfisher, went to Dark Dodo, and then over towards LeFaeles. So both the bottom seed teams have been switching it around a lot this season, trying to find the correct roster.
Exactly. You know, and there's sort of a happy medium where you want to figure out how to fix problems without changing rosters because synergy is important, but at the same time, you do want to change things out after a while if it takes too long. So Myrmidons trying new things in their jungle for the 3rd time around. We'll see how LeFaeles does. He looked fantastic in his first performance on this team. Paradigm gets first pick as they try to take on Myrmidons, and we'll see what everybody chooses to ban.
And it's been a while, like we said, since we've seen a full Paradigm lineup as well. So will Cabrakan be picked? Well, Giannis won't be played, that's for sure. Neither team wants to deal with that one. Paradigm do not want to first pick it either.
Lawbster could play this pretty well, but Lawbster has a number of other gods in his god pool. Lawbster has one of the deepest god pools, so by taking some of the more powerful picks off of the board, it really allows Lawbster to, you know, do what he wants.
They do have that flex pick on Isis too, so they could draft that first and not even put it in the mid lane, give that one over to Xaliea in the solo, and Paradigm get about Sun Wukong as well. They don't want to play either of those. They don't want to first pick either of those.
Well, so by banning the Sun Wukong out, it tells me that Xaliea wants to do something not Sun Wukong. He wants to do something different, right? So we might see that Isis come out in the solo lane or something.
Well, Isis, Thor, Hell are the 3 picks I can see straight away that are available for first pick. But whatever they don't take, there's an opportunity for Myrmidons to take in response. We could see a Hell Odin combo come out from Myrmidons now.
It is possible. Thor being the pickup for Paradigm, most likely be found in the jungle. But of course, Paradigm is the team that played Thor support just a couple of days ago. So you do have a little bit of a flexibility there on the side of Thor. Nuwa being picked up for the Myrmidons.
Yeah, Tynz going to be playing that one more than likely in the mid lane. Can go solo though, so a flex pick again. If we do see Xaliea go for that Isis, we could see Nuwa run against it to deal with the push power that you can see come out of that.
Isis, one of the more powerful characters when it comes to lane control and lane push, rather. Athena being picked up by Myrmidons. We saw just how powerful this character was last game or last set, not just in the support role on Kind of Your Life, who got MVP, but also on Replicas in the jungle.
Athena comes in and out of the meta in terms of how high of a pick potential she is. People realize once again that the taunt is very, very valuable, especially because it's a shortish cooldown, but can hit multiple members in force beads every single time.
So much setup on this character, and especially when you couple it with Blink. The situation with Athena is that preemptive strike shows your hand so much, right? Now I'm coming. Here's a taunt. If you couple it with Blink, that whole first section is irrelevant.
Well, showing your hand, Paradigm could be potentially doing that because they've drafted Neith and Isis, and Neith was run mid lane by Lawbster one of the last games, and Isis in the solo lane, so they could look for that opportunity once more. Apollo locked in, though, in the duo lane for the Bruise brothers in Jermain, and Dardez probably going to be on that Athena.
Yeah, see, right now for Paradigm, everything is flexible specifically on this team Paradigm, which is interesting. Thor is a jungler, but Paradigm have played it in the support role. Neith these days, sure, Zero still plays as her in the mid lane, but in general, Neith is a hunter. Lawbster will play Neith. Lawbster will even play Uller in the mid lane. Lawbster keeps bringing these hunters in. And again, Isis. Isis is a mid laner, but Paradigm have played her in the solo lane. So Paradigm have really created ambiguity for themselves in this draft pick.
Well, 4 of those gods have global ultimates, 1 with a semi-global as well. So big opportunity for both teams. Hades banned out, respect to the LeMoGow.
No LeMoGow, no Hades. It's worth saying that Hades, it's not exactly an auto win when Hades goes to LeMoGow, but it's still problematic enough that Paradigm doesn't want to deal with it. Odin going to be selected here on the side of Myrmidons, and that pick really just deters Paradigm from going that hell pick that you mentioned earlier.
Agreed, it could be deterring the hell pick, but it could also be baiting Paradigm into thinking they're going to go hell with their final pick of the game as well. And hell can be ran mid, can be ran solo. We saw Brotus run in the solo lane last game, and with the Odin there as well. But on top of that, we have seen LeMoGow run. I was going to say, we have seen Hades run Odin. We have seen LeMoGow run Odin in that solo lane before as well.
Chronos being selected by Paradigm. So again, Lawbster has absolutely slain it on Chronos. So has Funball.
Funball played that last game too.
Yes,
so
he did.
Interesting composition from him. Cabrakan is the final lock-in. That's a Thor support, that.
Yes, it
I
is.
thought, and you were calling out Dazer for the Cabrakan earlier. Well, it looks like Qvo's going to run it back in the jungle this time for the boys.
Well, Qvo has a fantastic. So the joke is Dazer plays a fantastic Odin and Cabrakan, and it seems to be it in between the two of us. But coming back to this game here, Cabrakan, QvoFred, he has really impressed me on this character in the past.
I was going to say about Myrmidons as well is that I've not seen Dardez play Athena in the support role all season,
Sure.
and it doesn't look like we're going to see it again as Bacchus is the final lock-in for that team. So it's probably going to be LeMoGow in the solo lane as this Odin up against probably the Isis here is
Okay.
what I want to say. And I think that matchup is Myrmidons expect Isis solo here with the Neith draft before the Chronos even came in. So they picked Odin to face off against it because Circle of Protection will not give the sustain if he's trapped inside the ring.
Well, this is definitely a game that I'm going to go ahead and introduce, at the very least, Paradigm, as we'll see Xaliea take Isis into the solo lane. Trixtank will be playing the support Thor, who's going to be supporting Funball on the Chronos. We've got Qvo in the jungle on Cabrakan, and Lawbster in the mid lane, Neith.
That's not even the crazy thing about this one. After Tynz is playing Odin in the mid lane against a Neith.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So what'll happen here is Tynz will take Odin into the mid lane, which leaves everybody generally normal. We've got a jungle in Athena and a solo Nuwa, but the mid Odin is really impressive here. So the wave clear is going to be fantastic early to mid, and then later on we'll see what happens. But against the Neith, it's an interesting combination. The ring slows down attack speed, obviously.
Both have very good wave clear too is the big point on that. So it should be pretty much, you won't see many minions in the mid lane for long after like level 3 hits for both these two players. So it'll be pretty quick in the wave clear, so watch for the rotations from these two and the junglers as well. Take into account we're going to also see Thor support again by Trixtank. We mentioned it already, but hang on a second. It's a little bit of an engagement over these right harpies here.
Tynz going to jump on top and cause some damage onto Lawbster, but a stun right out of QvoFred. Tynz in some trouble. Down goes the Odin off of a backflip to Lawbster. That'll be first blood. And taking a look at where Tynz is, well, he should be fine. I thought he might have started red pot, but he opted not to.
The problem with what happened with Tynz there was that he popped the shield to give himself, obviously, the protection, but Lawbster poked it down, so when he leapt in, it wasn't as much damage when he went in, so they didn't have the burst that they were looking for. Lawbster recognized that and went all in, and Qvo followed him up to secure the kill and pick up first blood for the Paradigm. Now they're going to get right harpies and potentially left as Trix is on his way over.
Here comes Trix, gets a stun and a double tap. Wall will prevent the escape
again.
onto the tower, and QvoFred, that's 2 deaths on Tynz in just about 30 seconds.
Last time we saw this happen to him, he was on Poseidon, and he got focused down in that game too, and it looks like they're going to apply the pressure, and an Odin from behind is not an Odin you want on your team.
Very true. Worth saying that those 2 deaths weren't exactly Odin mid. That was just a character getting stuck.
3 deaths? No. Please.
Qvo and
just left.
friends,
No.
3 deaths in under 2 minutes for the mid laner on Myrmidons. Frustration.
I just feel sorry for him already now. I'm just like, oh no. Because at this stage, everybody's going to be higher level. People hitting level 5 already. You're back in base 3 times already. You're still
Odin's level 2, Lawbster's level 5.
And now all you are is a walking ring. So you are is a walking ring.
Not for 3 levels.
I'd go blink Aegis now if I was him and become a walking ring that can survive an extra second in the ring.
You can't ring for 3 levels.
Well, eventually he'll be a walking ring. Eventually. He has gone for the, he should go for the blink and Aegis. That's what I go and just like when the team fights happen at this stage when you're this far behind, at least you can blink in, force a ring, and then Aegis to buy yourself a moment to survive.
Keep exactly what he's going to have to hope to do is he's definitely climbing up a mountain here. 0 and 3 before the 3rd minute.
Lawbster got first. Was it Lawbster who got the first kill? And then
yes.
Cabrakan got the next 2. So Cabrakan going to be ahead in the jungle too. So he'll be able to go back, get blink, get full boots. And Cabrakan, when he's ahead, is very dangerous in a Guardian.
Yeah, Cabrakan reminds me of Ymir in the sense that in the jungle later on, he'll sort of peak and then later on become a control monster. But if you do get ahead in that early game, the early to mid game is absolutely devastating. A lot of people are probably a little bit more familiar with the jungle Ymir, as Tynz gets poked out a little bit more. So what happens is when Ymir gets ahead, you get the freeze, you get the carpet, you get the basic, and you're dead if you get too far ahead on Ymir. Cabrakan is very much the same. You go ahead, you'll get the stun, and then the seismic slam, a couple of basics or some tremors, and you're going to wind up
Thor coming in mid lane though. They're looking for the pick onto Athena with the Will Weaver and will secure it. Tynz is there, but level 4, stuck in the tremors. Leap already down. Trix is in, handing him down to death. One more will be enough. He'll take a tower shot, but completely worth it. This is a 5-0 Paradigm squad.
Fantastic teamwork there. The ultimate out of Cabrakan made sure that he wasn't able to escape to the left side of the tower. The tremor slowed him down. You mentioned that the jump was on cooldown as well. Trixtank goes right in for the basics. Paradigm combines for a team kill right there. 5-0 before the 5th minute.
Lawbster now so far ahead in control of this mid lane that he's able to push it out and rotate into the enemy jungle. Normally it's the jungler that does that, but it's this mid laner that's able to rotate and support.
He's ahead by 3 levels. There's really nothing Lawbster can't afford to do. He's going to let Odin be in lane by himself, and we'll see what happens when they return. Dardez making his way towards the mid lane as well.
And wall coverage is going to have to pick up as well from Myrmidons. I know they're behind and they're trying to save as much gold as they can already. It's only 4 minutes in. But wards near that gold fury are important because Trixtank on this Thor, he did exactly what he's looking to do. He'll hover in the air at the gold fury. He can pick the opportunity to gank duo lane or the mid lane from that angle. And Myrmidons need to be aware of it because they got picked off in mid because of that.
Lawbster gets both Harpies for free by himself. No contest.
Can we just check Golden Hand as well? Actually, 1 second, we're going to see QvoFred come in. They might look for Tynz again. They're going to find him. No, he will have to leap away, but that means wave clear is very... Look at the 3 characters that Myrmidons have there. Who's got the wave clear? That's the problem. They don't have any. If Odin uses that leap, they've not got much to wave clear with.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the upside of this Odin mid being fast wave clear. Well, there
should be a Gold Fury here.
It's not going to be the case, and with Tynz backing...
Is it Gold Fury or a bait attempt?
It's an opportunity for a Gold Fury, but it looks like the team...
blink.
Paradigm's more interested in the red buff. Out comes the ultimate. It's going to be just off the mark. Everybody gets out of it, but there's the Thor dunk, and Lawbster secures another kill. That's the 3rd kill onto the mid laner.
They currently just don't have a mid laner because he's too far behind. He can't do anything to get involved, and now you're seeing that they have to rotate in Jermain to support as well. Will Weaver comes out on Tynz again. They're just beating down the mid lane of Tynz at the moment, and that should be his death. Oh, the hammer doesn't hit the double tap, only the single, otherwise he would have fallen down.
Trouble for the support here. Athena ults on in. LeFaeles has arrived, but really nothing to do as Paradigm walks away. Red buff goes to Lawbster, so the invasion is on the side of Paradigm.
And Funballer has gone back to base, finally got shoes the Medjay online in full. And they're just going to return back to lane again. Trixtank quite happy on this support 4 so far. Has his Warrior Tabby online. And so far so good for Paradigm. This looks like honestly a walk in the park for them so far.
Everything is going according to plan for Paradigm. They got 3 extremely early kills and just they essentially started the game with a head start.
And the big pick was the first one. That could have gone either way to begin with, but the poke down from Lawbster, and then the immediately comes back to lane, Tynz falls again, and the opportunity to realize they can go aggressive, and Tynz wasn't aware of it. Funballer a little bit caught out here, does have rewind though. Not going to get it off in time, because you've got to respect the Intoxicate. Bruise Brothers making something happen for Myrmidons.
So much damage coming out from that Intoxicate, as you mentioned, and a quick basic to get the kill before rewind is successfully cast. So Funball will be forced back to the base for a couple of seconds. He'll spawn in 10. He's level 9. Jermain, with that kill, is level 9. The Hunter matchup is all about even.
Well, LeFaeles going to soak a bit of experience on that right-hand side. Important for him to do that as well because he lost a lot of his jungle, so he wasn't able to get to the level he'd like to. But that means he's stripping away experience from LeMoGow in the solo lane. And LeMoGow so far, he's had an even matchup with Xaliea. No one's really influenced it. But the pressure from Paradigm and other areas of the map is now causing them to have to shred experience and gold off LeMoGow as well to catch up.
Yeah, the gold is a much different story. You've got about 700 gold on the side of Xaliea.
Yep. And that's the wave clear more than anything else, plus the pressure earlier. I mean, he had his blue buff stolen, LeMoGow as well, and now in the jungle,
trapped.
Fails, dashed into a wall there and got stunned straight after, and he should fall down. Definitely now Trix will go up and find it.
Yeah, Trix just going to secure this over the top with the ultimate, lands right on LeFaeles, and that'll be the 7th kill on the side of a Paradigm.
Really rough situation for Myrmidons now because the only lane that really has an opportunity here is the duo. They've already picked up 1 kill onto Funballer, but I don't see that happening again. And level 10 on Apollo is fine to be against Funballer, but look at the support's 2-level differential because of Trixtank's influence so far.
Trixtank has been all over the map, and granted, that's what a Thor does, which is why I wind up liking this pick more than a lot of people at home seem to have thought.
Trixtank's really funny, right? Because he always pulls out these strange sort of supports that work for him in his aggressive style. Hercules last split, everyone ended up banning it out at LAN for a long time, and Trix was like, I've not played it in ages, why do people keep banning it against me? As we see another kill position.
Ooh, fantastic block at a LeFaeles. Dardez was about to die from the ultimate out of a Lawbster, but instead LeFaeles stands in front and then punishes QvoFred off of the hot assist from Tynz. Believe it or not, that ring does come in handy, but a good stun. And Trixtank doesn't have the kill.
No mana. He couldn't follow up with their double tap. Another rotation from LeMoGow to support means that they were going to find it. But Apollo's in the sky at the moment. Jermain had to disengage from that. I think he felt threatened by Funballer.
Yeah. 2 things could have happened there. Jermain went into the air to look to assist his team, realized that everything was over and go right back to lane, or was put in a bad position
what
by
Xaliea
Funballer.
did there was beautiful. He pushed the whole wave in when LeMoGow's rotation happened, then zoned him away from the whole wave on the rotation back to soak it. He may have taken some poke for it, but he denied another wave of experience to LeMoGow.
Just pushing his lead even more so is Xaliea here in the solo lane. Very, very far ahead, about to hit 1,000 gold above his direct lane opponent. All from the small things in lane, whether it be pushing exactly what you just highlighted, Hindu, pushing the wave and then zoning, or just superior wave clear. Everything is going the way for Xaliea and the rest of his team, honestly. We're just now hitting 10 minutes, and the score might confuse you about that, as Paradigm has already achieved 7 kills over 2, and they're leading by about 4,000 gold.
And the thing is, right now, unfortunately for Tynz, he did get the assist in one of those kills, so he might be worth a little bit of gold again, because at the moment it wasn't too bad. But left-hand side again. That's where the hope is for Myrmidons now. That's the hope.
Oh,
Pick up Funballer, put the pressure on. But it means that Paradigm need to respond in tow and try and get something mid, and it looks like that's what they're trying to do to Tynz here. Look at the position of the 3 men around this mid laner. Trix on left side, Qvo on the right, and he's dead.
And there's a snap, and Qvo should come down on top of an already dead Tynz as the ultimate from Qvo secures it. Characters from Myrmidons walk around the walls presented by Qvo, but the tier 1 tower will fall. Lawbster gets credit onto that one.
So at the moment, what Myrmidons are doing is just, what Paradigm's doing, just allowing the Myrmidons to win the duo lane because they're winning so much more on the rest of the map. Funballer's been caught out twice, maybe a little bit suspect from him. Should probably maybe rewind a little bit earlier if he's had the opportunity.
Exactly. Funballer hasn't made the adjustment. Bacchus is going to do so much burst damage, and Funballer hasn't been able to hit the rewind early enough.
It's also the fact that belly flop, take that into account, because you can't use any abilities when you belly flop knockups, deny the opportunity. But still in the jungle, Paradigm, with their 3 men core, are making good pressure onto Myrmidons again, forcing out Jermain this time. Yeah,
knockups can be one of the harshest forms of CC. We generally bring it up when it's with respect to Habois. Because Habois' damage can't be ageist because you're already in the air. That's exactly what's happening to Funball over here. He's getting knocked in the air, and all of the burst is coming out before he even lands, making the timing that he has to rewind even slower. In order to Funball to really successfully get out of this problem, he's got a beads while Bacchus is in the air before that belly flop lands, which is a very tough thing to do.
Well, see what he can do. Maybe just rewind a little bit earlier as well as the opportunity as soon as the belly flop ends. But knockup's going back to that point. And that's why you'll see Sylvanas and Geb be an interesting conversation about which one's stronger on ultimate levels. Because Geb gets a big stun spot over on this left-hand side. They are going to pressure Jermain and find that kill.
Yeah, Apollo doesn't have a rewind. He's got a chariot, but same situation there this time with stuns. Just completely crowd-controlled was Jermain before he was able to get his ultimate off.
And that kill going over to Funballer is important just to give him the lead back, honestly, and then give him the gold. He's had a lot more gold in this lane because Dardez has been hanging around a little bit more to support, not necessarily support Jermain, but to soak experience.
Well, yes, to support Jermain. You've had a 1v2 in this long lane for a long time, and those 2 kills were the result of support plus Hunter really coming together. Now that's the kind of rewinds you want to see when Chronos is on your squad. Ultimate comes out onto Tynz, doesn't do much damage, but here comes the actual damage from the Hunter. A couple more hits out of Qvo. I think Tynz might live unless Lawbster hits him with the hot backflip. I keep forgetting there is a 5-level differential between our 2 mid laners. 15-10 on Lawbster versus Tynz.
5-level differential and a Transcendence up against not even a Jotuns yet on Tynz as well. Tynz, once again, I feel sorry for him because he got focused in a game earlier on this season where he played a Poseidon and lost 3 quick kills in a row, and they just focused him down. And they're doing the same thing again. This Odin pick, I think it was an interesting pick, but that level 1 play, that level 2 play, sorry, the right harpies just
exactly. I don't even dislike the Odin mid. It's not my least favorite thing that I've seen. It's just the fact that it's irrelevant. Basically, what I'm saying here, Hindu, is that this character could be virtually any character. When you get killed 3 times in a single minute, and then your direct lane opponent is 4 levels your senior, what do? It doesn't matter if you're a top tier or a weird pick like Odin. You're just kind of too far behind.
You've got a level 16 Hunter in the mid lane now to deal with in Lawbster. Not only that, there's still free farming Funballer. I mean, I know he's died twice, but still up in gold over in that lane. There's still no gold furies down. His Tynz has to leap away again.
Tynz gets rooted, jumps away, so he'll find some safety.
He's having to shield and leap away every time, so he's not wave clearing at all, which means this pressure in the mid lane is consistently there.
Oh, yeah.
And allows Paradigm just to rotate around the map freely and do what they want.
Well, that's one of Odin's biggest Achilles heels, is that while he is a mid-game monster, an early to mid-game monster, because of the large damage that Bird Bomb, the combination of Leap and Raven Shield, will do, those are his only defensive tools. So it's very binary. You either do damage or you don't with Odin. And in this situation, he's forced to use his defensive abilities defensively, which means he has no offense abilities. Gungir's Might is not going to clear the wave anytime soon.
The one thing I'm seeing from Paradigm, which I'm surprised at, honestly, is why they've not rushed the Gold Fury down a little bit sooner already. They've got the pressure on the map. Myrmidons are not in a position to really contest. They do have to deal, I guess, with Bacchus and that Intoxicate damage burst that they can have, but they're in such a good position that this could have been a little bit earlier than it is. I'm glad they're doing it now, because they have to be calling it out, but could have been a little bit earlier than that.
Paradigm takes it in about 6 seconds, and I think that's really what they were looking for. They were waiting for a situation where they could absolutely annihilate the Gold Fury. And with that objective, it brings them 7,300 gold in the lead.
And my problem is I'm looking at the squad that Myrmidons have got in terms of roster here. And where are we looking for the person to step up and bring them back into this game? The gods they've selected are not the ones that you're like, don't worry, because this guy will come online eventually. There is none of that on this squad.
I mean, you have that a little bit out of the Nuwa and the Apollo. I never really count these characters out. Audacity is a very strong ability for a Hunter to have as the game gets later and later. Apollo will deal incredible amounts of damage. And Nuwa, when put in the right position, that Minion Explode can turn a team fight by itself. But Myrmidons are going to really have to play to those 2 characters.
Well, we say that, but look at Solo Island right now and look exactly what Xalia's built here. Look what he's built.
Just pure. He's got the Warlock Sash and the Book of Thoth.
Before full boots. He's had free farm in this lane, not really pressured by anyone, because obviously LeFaeles has had to be focusing on the other side of the map.
Exactly, and that's the benefit of being in the solo lane.
He said solo island, but it looks like LeMoGow's going to find out it's not so solo anymore. Does get up to the sky with the fire shards. Athena has to ult as well defensively, but Trix is on his way, and he's going to have an ultimate in a second too. Here we go. Watch out, LeMoGow. You've got incoming.
Thor's looking for it. Just misses the stun. There's another one, but Minions explodes will stop Trixtank in his tracks. QvoFred follows his teammate past the tower and picks up the kill. Tynz can't really do much of anything, and now he's being forced out. But Qvo, he's going to go underneath the tower. Trixtank will fall to Tynz. Very important that that mid laner gets a kill, but he's immediately brought down by a Lawbster.
Dardez made the play there to actually bring back some kills in that engagement. Problem is the rotation finally came out as well from Lawbster after pushing down mid lane some more, and now they can pressure a tier 2. Only the drunk man is here to defend. It's a big ask for him. I don't think he's got anything. Without Intoxicate, he's going to have to give this one up.
This is one of the first times we've seen action in the right solo lane, which is why Xaliea was allowed to be building as greedily as he was. There was just no reason to get the boots if nobody's in your lane.
Every time I bring up a point, it just feels like that's what happens. I'm like, they've not gone through yet. Why have they not done that? We've not seen action in solo lane. We see action.
You know, we haven't seen the Titan fall yet, Hindu.
Well, that's probably going to be in the next 10 minutes the way this is going.
Myrmidons, of course, right?
Well, maybe this is Titan or Paradigms?
Myrmidons going to go ahead
Did you
and
vote for the French this week?
Myrmidons going to go ahead and take Paradigms Titan, right?
You expect? Is that your call?
Not in game one. Not in game one.
Not in game one, so you call it game 2 they're going to do that, huh?
Well, I just think Paradigm has really set themselves up. I mean, they're 10,000 gold up, and that's generally my sort of, you know, no hard rules in these games, of course. But once you hit a 10,000 gold lead, you really have solidified yourself as the guy driving the boat. And so Paradigm is looking to go ahead and take this one to the bank, and it's looking like it will be a yellow and black victory.
It's up to the Myrmidons to try and weather the storm for the most part, but like I said, late game, still going to be a rough situation. You can see that Book of Tough. The boot's finally online for Xaliea as well now, so near enough fully double stacked and now working towards, I'm not even sure what that is next.
I mean, just having a Chronos late game on Paradigm, and we say late game, Chronos is level 17 already. He's got his Warlock Sash online, and is that a Telkine's ring? I believe he bought a Telkine's ring.
They do have one person positive in Jermain at the moment.
Oh no, it is a demonic grip. Colors are off. I'm like, okay, good. Demonic grip is what we expect to be built. Telkine's ring would have not been the right choice. The colors are a little weird on my screen.
But now you can see Paradigm on the left-hand side of the map invading once again, putting pressure on Tier 1 towers about to fall here. They'll probably look for the Tier 2 as well. You can already see Lawbster in position to clear the next wave out. Myrmidons are on the way over to defend. And it's going to be a rough... They're going to have to make a big play of the defense here. I'm looking at Dardez more than anyone for a big initiation if you can find it.
This is the first time we've seen Myrmidons grouped up, though. Paradigm have been grouping to take towers, and Myrmidons have been spread really thin. This is the first time that they've actually really solidly grouped as a 5-man unit.
Tynz lost half his HP there through the shield as Lawbster bursted him down, kept him away from leaping over the wall just about. As the Tier 1 tower fell for free, they got half the Tier 2 tower. Now they're looking left even more.
Damage onto the Hunter.
Get the beads off him too, so Jermain's out of the fight. Meanwhile, mid lane, 2 players going to pressure there. Xaliea and Lawbster. Split push Paradigm here, just going to take both these towers down.
Chronos is able to destroy towers so quickly. One of the most efficient structured destroyers in the game is Chronos because of the way the math works when it comes to mages dealing damage to towers, plus his passive, and of course Accelerate, just increasing attack speed.
Myrmidons aren't really a slouchy team though. I know they're near the bottom of the SPL, but they took games off Titan already this season before. Split them, took games off Dignitas, who are on the rise right now as well. And obviously up against Justice, they defeated them as well, but they've not managed. They've looked very, very bland here against Paradigm.
This has been a rough one for Myrmidons, without a doubt. As you highlighted, they have seen moments in the sun. This game, unfortunately for them, is not one of them. But I really think it's just off of Paradigm. I mean, this is what momentum looks like, folks. That setup of getting the 3 early kills onto Tynz, there was nothing the mid laner could do to really combat with Paradigm's mid laner Lawbster or the rest of the team, which allowed Lawbster to rotate everywhere, which is why we saw kills all over the map, because there was an extra person that maybe shouldn't have been there because Paradigm forced out a mid player early. With another Gold Fury after some kills in the left lane, 15,500 gold on the side of Paradigm's lead.
I feel Myrmidons, what they need to work on going forward is making sure the communication between the jungler and the mid laner improves. I mean, obviously, it's a new jungler in LeFaeles coming in. Tynz is back on the squad this season after Sayo moving away from the team. But this has been the issue with them. They've replaced junglers multiple times. I'm not blaming LeFaeles this game, but the start of the game, the communication was off. They decided to fight a fight that wasn't in their favor in the end, and they got punished for it in the worst possible way in giving 3 very fast kills over to Paradigm. And they don't lose lead to Paradigm easily. You really have to push them hard to make them give up a lead.
Paradigm backs after their Gold Fury. Now they're all hovering around the right side of the map, which means the thought process is, at the very least, let's think about Fire Giant. At this point of the game, Paradigm can just do it. And then if Myrmidons show up, take the fight.
It's gonna be
I think that's the play.
I don't see any other way. So the ward just dropped by Lawbster there for defense. Qvo actually going to start blue buff as the rest of the team begin the Fire Giant here. All the boys of Myrmidons, well, Jermain's farming over in the duo lane right now, as is the whole of Myrmidons, fighting for scraps in their own jungle here.
No contest. Paradigm picks up the Fire Giant with no hesitation. Fire Giant falls. 13-4 read the kills as we're in our 22nd minute. Game 1 of Paradigm versus Myrmidons.
You know it's good life when you support and you get given blue buff, you know? It's a good time. Trixtank at level 17 already. His counterpart Jermain, who in fairness, his counterpart Dardez, who in fairness has had the best game so far for me, but involved in every single play that the Myrmidons have made, is still only level 13.
Pushing down the Phoenix is Paradigm. Qvo leading the charge on this Cabrakan. The rest of his friends, you got Trixtank and Funball splitting on the mid lane, and very quickly this Phoenix will find himself close to death. A couple more basics will do it, but a hot rotation out of Myrmidons puts people in the mid side. Trixtank going to go ahead and dive the back line, forcing a couple of members back, which opens up the Phoenix to die from Funball. The rest of the team will fight. Funball picks up the Phoenix and LeMoGow. Down goes the Myrmidons. Couple of players still alive, but with all this presence out of Myrmidons in the opponent's base, there's just too many issues for Myrmidons to control. 23 on the clock. Surrender vote has started. We'll see if it goes through as Paradigm maintains control.
I love what Trixtank did on that engagement, though, as well as we're still seeing the fight go on. He went up in the sky, came down knowing the right Phoenix had fallen, his team could flank around the back. But if you notice, he held his wall for a long time there. He was trying to get the double wall off, really. Pin off LeFaeles and LeMoGow as well. Couldn't find it, but still, he bought his team enough time to get themselves in position, support, and find the kills nice and quick.
All 3 Phoenixes are down for the count, so Paradigm is looking primed to go ahead and aggress onto the Titan. Titan at full HP, but just for a moment, very quickly, it finds itself at about 75%. Paradigm, well, there's 5 members of Myrmidons here to defend, so this might not be the right choice. Tynz drops the ring down. Escape! Escape by the Thor! I didn't think he was going to get out of there, but here comes the turnaround. LeMoGow picks up 1. Jermain picks up a 2nd. Tynz has died, but the 4 members of Myrmidons remain to play defense.
Yep, they remain, but they're not going to find any more kills, I don't think, and it's not a comeback. I'm going to say that already. All 3 Phoenixes down less than 25 minutes in. Maybe they'll find some kills.
In some trouble. There's a knock-up.
But the burst damage and the level advantage and the gold advantage is just paying off for them now. So they're going to turn this one back around again. They pull Myrmidons out of the base to put the pressure on, and then they clean them up instead.
That's game. Funball, another kill onto the Hunter. And with LeFaeles being the only player
Paradigm
alive.
being too greedy, looking for extra kills more than anything. They should have ended the first time round. Instead, they bought Myrmidons the second, who punished them for it, but not enough to come back in.
Well, Paradigm, in extreme dominant fashion, go ahead and take 1. I mean, this was an absolute clinic. They come out on top of everything in the early game, and that just snowballed into the rest.
When you see that your Hunter in the mid lane is level 5, and the enemy mid laner, who's a warrior this time round, is level 2. You know, things have gone pretty much well.
Again, yeah. And again, the Odin pick really, it wasn't anything to do with the Odin pick. It was just positioning. Tynz came around pretty much the wrong side. He came around the bottom side, and he was sandwiched between two Paradigm
Bursting
members.
through the shield burst was what was important. He wanted the shield burst for the damage. They wanted to commit for the damage, but Lawbster poked him down, so the shield didn't do that much when it landed with the leap. And then when you've got no burst and you're looking at a Cabrakan is what he was going for, it's not going to work out for you. Guardian is a tanky target.
Lawbster started everything with help from his friend QvoFred, and the jungler is who we're going to be celebrating today. 4, 2, and 10 slash line on the jungler, making his return to the starting lineup on side of Paradigm. And this was one of the second kills we saw in the game, and then here's the third kill we saw in the game. QvoFred was a huge part of this early game springboard that allowed Paradigm to take absolute control of this match.
Really was, and Qvo, like he's been away for a couple of weeks, still got it quite clearly after game 1. Can he do it in game 2 is the next question.
Well, that will be the question, but right now we'll celebrate some of the top performers of game number 1. An Alpha Draft will bring that to us, and it's all 5 members of your Paradigm squad.
Pretty much what you expect after a dominant performance like that one. There wasn't much for Myrmidons to really find there. Jermain is the one I would probably look to in that game. Jermain and Dardez were probably the best who plays. LeMoGow very quiet. He did what he could. There wasn't much he could do, but Jermain and Dardez did make things happen. If the rest of the team could weather the storm, maybe we could see some action out of that dual lane from Myrmidons.
Unfortunately for Myrmidons, they do drop game 1, but it is a 2-game split. We'll be able to see if Myrmidons can take the second game or if Paradigm is going to continue the freight train that they were in game number 1. Again, QvoFred back in the starting lineup. If you missed game number 1, well, he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. Really absolutely controlling the jungle on that Cabrakan.